Hi, it's Amelie. Today for Just Practicing, we're going to work on the 9th Fantasy by Telemann. So as you can see on the screen, I've recorded those and you can go on musicgy.com and buy them. And it comes with my own edition of the piece. Because when you buy or when you get text, you get what the composer wrote. And so there's not many slurs or articulations or dynamics, and some people get a bit intimidated by that. So if I thought of just making my own edition the way I play them, and so it can guide you. You don't have to play it the same way, but it can give you some ideas, because it's good to, you know, steal from other people to learn how to do it yourself. That's how we all learn. We just we get inspired by others and then we find our own voice. Okay, so let's start. This one's in E major. You see you have 4 sharps at the key signature and it's in E. So I'll just play the beginning. I'll play it at 63. I'll put the metronome because I feel sometimes it helps some people when they hear the click, you know, and you get to know where the beats are. So let's do this. One, two, three. Okay, so that's the first part, first time. You have a repeat. When you have a repeat in that type of music, in Baroque music, you can add some some ornaments. Okay, so I wrote some. You could improvise some. You could write your own. Or you can just play mine. They are all good choices. Also, remember, when you make a trill in Baroque music, you have to stop on the top note. So let's say at measure 1, 2, 3, 4, you have a trill from A to B, but you have to start on B, not on A. So I'll play the measure. I'll start on A so you can hear. Okay. Now I'll play it starting on B, the way it should be. So you just repeat the B. So on the beat, you go, let's say, A, C, na, da, B, da, na, na. On the beat, you play the B, and then you trill on your A, B. Okay, so now I'll play the second time with the ornaments, but today I feel it a bit slower, so I'll put it at 58. Depends on your mood, you can change it a little bit. Oh, and it's a live stream, so if you have questions, just you can, if they're linked to what I'm playing, I'll answer them right away, and if not, I'll answer them at the end. 2, 3. That's the first part. Also, I wanted to say, I try not to vibrate too much in Baroque music because vibrato was not part of the aesthetic at that point. But I don't make it like I try not to stress myself too much with that either, because I used to be very strict about it, but I felt sometimes it sounded dull because I'm still playing a metal flute. So find your comfortable point, but on it, like, obviously it's not romantic music, so I wouldn't go like let's say from measure 10, I wouldn't go like that. That would be a bit much, you know. But between that and nothing, you know, there's a little bit of space there. Okay, so I will continue. One, two, you see the whole, like, it goes from one, you see, let's say measure 14 starts on an A, 15 G sharp, 16 F sharp, like, bit as here I feel like the first note is like the bass line. You want your bass line to come out, and then so that because the bass is the guide of the harmony, and so you want the people listening to be able to kind of follow along. And yeah, that's what I meant by it. Like, make sure you don't do the opposite, which would be playing the high notes louder and the low notes softer, because here you want to have a type of pyramid where that's why he puts the bass on the first note of the measure. So yeah, make it come out a little bit, and I feel it gives a nice structure. The structure is already there. In a way, you just have to make it come out. It's very well written, so just play it the way he wrote it. Okay, so I'll start from 20. 2, 3. Play the repeat of the second part, but I wanted to say as well, you have a lot of syncopation in that, and so let's say measure 20, for example, you have a syncopation. Bum, bum, da, no. Syncopation is when you start on the upbeat and you end on the downbeat, or you start on a weak part of the beat or a weak beat and end on a strong beat or a strong part of the beat. And sometimes people have a tendency to shorten those notes. Make sure you don't. So the way to make sure that your rhythm stays good, I feel, is to see the pulse, so the beats, as the container. Okay, you have a container with little subdivisions, and you put your beats in the right spot. Those don't move. That stays steady. Clack, 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 and you put that in there. So because I feel like sometimes some people they'll be like, oh, that's double of this, and if you start doing that, your rhythm is going to sound approximate. It's not going to be precise. To have precise, you have to know where you are. So if you have to write 1, 2, 3, or put little lines under your your notes so you know where the beats are, and then you just aim for those beats, and that should help you. Also, syncopations are very expressive and very important. You want to give them a little bit more energy on those notes. Okay, so now I'll do second time with the ornaments. Second part, second time. 2, 3. Oh yeah, I misread. I'll go from 18. I didn't really follow the metronome too much. You know, it's not, I'm playing it like that so you can hear where the beats are. I feel it's helpful for people. But once it's very clear to you where the beats are and you are in control, obviously you don't have to play metronomically the whole way through, you know. Okay, so that's good. Good. Now the Allegro. I'll play it once a bit slowly, because you see, like, let's say measure 3, you have those ta-da, 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 ta. Here you have to make sure that you play the 32nd note on the beat and not before the beat, ending on the beat, like let's say the G and E. So make sure you don't play the G before the beat and the E on the beat, because that's very tempting. You want to make sure you play the G on the beat. I'll give you an example. Let's say if I play bum, bum, da, 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 da. Okay, let's say I'm at 100 per 8 note. I'll play from the beginning, and I'll make a mistake at the third measure so you can hear the mistake, and then I'll play the right way. Oh wait, I have to think about making a mistake. Sorry. So you heard I was ta-da, ta-da. It's not that, it's ta-da. Now I'll play it the right way so you can hear. 1, 2, 3. Good. So that's the thing that a lot of people, you know, you just have to be mindful of it. It's not difficult. It's just, if you're not mindful, you might fall in that trap, and then it's more work to undo what you learned wrong. So just be careful with that. And then I think I'll just play it slowly once, and then at the real tempo. Maybe I'll even go a bit slower so you can really hear where the beats are. 88. Let's try 88. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, sorry. start from there. I'll start 2 measures before. At 36. No, 35. Okay, I'll do from 45. Okay. Here I think that one thing that's very interesting is the use of chromaticism in a lot of different spots. So let's say measure 11 and 12, okay? You have nice chromaticism there. I'll start from 10, so you have C sharp to D. That's all chromatic. Chromaticism brings a bit of drama, you know, a little bit of tension, you know. So I like to kind of push on that a little bit. Even at 13. Yeah. So there's a little bit there. Let's say at 15 you have the same thing. Okay. So you have a lot of those little things. So that with the little rhythm, ta-da, ta-da, those two things bring some tension. So tension's interesting because music is about tension and release. So you have to figure out like where you feel tension and where you feel like, oh, some things like let's say I started the pickup from 15. And then on that measure on 18, there's release. You know? Really on 19, you feel you've arrived on C sharp and now you're flirting with C sharp. You know, you're on C sharp, which is the C sharp minor, which is the relative minor of E major. So here you are. And you stay in C sharp for a little bit, you know. So that's interesting. You don't have to understand all that because naturally we all know the tonal system. It's part of us and we all know when there's tension and when there's release. Just be mindful of that. And very often a phrase will start with not much tension, then build tension, and then release at the end. And then that end is very often the beginning of the next one. It's so they go in one another. They're like waves. So try to find those waves and just make them come out. Okay, I'll try to play it without a metronome or with a metronome. I'll see. That's a bit fast. I haven't played in a while. I'll try it at 63. Let's see. 63 per measure now. Let's try. One of my finger went up without me wanting it to. also another, that's a bit fast, but I could practice it. Another thing is that there's a lot of big intervals, and it's nice to usually make the note that comes on the strong beat come out more. And when you do big intervals, you have to find like a middle ground so you don't have to move too much, because then you're gonna crack notes. So let's say at 40. You hear this? You have tenths here. So I'm not moving much, you see? There's a little bit, but not that much. It's more like, it's more in the airspeed than in the lips. And you can practice it all slurred. It's gonna help you. And like I've practiced that all slurred, the whole because I feel like tonging is like playing slurred for the air. It's the same thing, but with tonging. Like, I know it sounds very basic to say that, but what I mean by that is that sometimes people, when they play detached, they stop blowing, but you need air for the sound, and you need air for the tongue to be able to cut the sound, you know, to give the articulation. So that's why I like to practice everything slurred when it's detached, and also sometimes I practice everything detached when it's slurred and I play around with it. Also, another thing I would tell you here, you really need double tonguing, which is taka taka taka. And when you're learning it, if you're not super comfortable with double tonguing, let's say you're learning it slowly, maybe you should think about practicing it with double tonguing from the beginning. This way you also practice your double tonguing, you get more comfortable with it, and you kind of learn the choreography of the, you know, it's basically a choreography of your tongue with your fingers, and you're learning the right choreography from the beginning, you know. It's not a hard rule, but it's something you could look into. You can also practice like with double tonguing inverted, like you start kata, 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 and then taka becomes more easy. So if I practice it with kata, wait. Because I have to think a lot, but then when I want to do it the normal way, and do you hear how I make some notes come out more than other notes? Like, basically the first note of every measure. But here in the, I do a little to give it some, a little bit of, you know, tiny crescendo, decrescendo, I guess. That's what I'm doing to give it some tension. What was I doing? Was I playing the whole thing through?
Yeah, you played it all the way through.
Okay, I could play it one last time with or maybe it's not necessary. I don't know. Yeah. And if I was practicing that for a concert, you see, like, I did that, playing it very fast. That's kind of I see it sometimes as a diagnosis. So my diagnosis is the beginning was very easy, but then around 20 I started doubting some notes sometimes. If you want to play very fast and if you want to be comfortable in concert, you need to have zero doubt. zeroed out. So I would practice those spots more. And yeah, you know, like around 20. You see that part at the 30, I would practice it more. But yeah, so yeah, and if you have a practice journal, so I would probably write like, okay, tomorrow, maybe I wouldn't practice the whole thing again, but I'd be like, tomorrow I'll go around 30 and practice that part again, you know, the little spots. There's times when I practice to play without stopping. There's times when I practice spots. Both are very necessary. So sometimes you practice to learn the piece and make sure you like you're creating automatic responses. So yeah, you don't have to think. It's just you play. Your brain is basically almost, you know, you're in that flow state where you're not trying to control anything, okay? Because you programmed yourself so well that you don't have to control. You just have to let it happen. So sometimes you're programming that, and sometimes you're practicing just playing and not stopping even if you made a mistake. And that's also important, because if you're not used, because it's pretty much impossible to make zero mistake. So if you're not used to making a mistake and going on, you're gonna have some feelings and some thoughts that are gonna disturb your playing. So you have to train yourself to be able to get beyond that. Is that clear the way I explain it? Yeah. Yeah. So you have to train both. And like, I see a lot of students who say, like, when they make mistakes, I feel like a lot of people, it's because they don't trust their body. It sounds funny, but you know, they try to control too much. And so that's why I'm saying you have to program your piece right, so that then it comes by itself, you know. The controlling part of yourself is programming, but the playing part is not controlling, you know. It's a bit like if you go down this flight of stairs very fast, it's all automatic, you're not controlling, it's very intuitive. That's the goal. When you play without, you know, it doesn't come within a day, but it's like with years and thousands of hours. That's where we're going. So when you practice, think about that, you know, and trying to trust the process, basically. Yeah. Okay, let's do the grave. So that's slow. We can try it at 76. I add some ornaments there because there's not many notes, and it's nice to add some stuff, and we're allowed to. It's Baroque music. It's even expected, you know. Oh, that's a bit fast. Okay. I'll play it at 66. Okay, I'll try it at 76 just to see. No. Yeah, I think of it in 3 beats. Da, da. Sorry for the out of tune singing. Da, dia, da, 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 dum, bum, dee, da, dum, da, 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 dum, da, ya, da, da, ya, da, da, da. Yeah, it's a bit tough to do that, the breathing part here. You could take a breath, like I take a big breath between at the second measure, between the E and the D sharp, like after the half note. But you could take one in the measure after, between the F and the G sharp, I think. So I'll try it again. 2, 3. And if you don't play too loud, it's going to help you with the breathing. You can take your time to breathe. What I noticed in my life, in my flute playing, is that when I was younger, I would try to breathe fast, and I was breathing inefficiently a lot. And eventually I kind of switched in my brain. Something had clicked, and I started breathing slower. But it's like it's like a psychological thing, because I feel like I'm breathing slower, but really I'm not breathing slower. I'm breathing maybe even faster, but more efficiently, because I'm not breathing in a hurry. I think it's the whole thing. Don't be in a hurry. It's not, you know, like sometimes you see people, they want to do everything, but they just run around and they're not really efficient. And then you see people who are not in a hurry and do one thing at a time, and at the end of the day you're like, what? You did all that? You know, being in a hurry doesn't mean you're more efficient. And so when you want to breathe in a hurry, you tend to close your throat and go and the breath when you're in a hurry is way more on the surface, so just the upper chest, just where you don't really have muscles to push the air there, and you don't have a lot of space. When you are not in a hurry and you're more in control of the, you know, you feel more relaxed, then you go and you feel like you can open your back, you can open here in the front, you like, it's like a 360, it's all around, you know, like a, and you don't have to do only belly breathing. Some teachers say, oh, breathe with your belly. Fine, but you can also use here your rib cage and open it. You see? Obviously, you don't want to do this with your shoulder, but you don't have to push them down either, because when you're breathing, my shoulders are moving a little bit. It's okay, you know? It's okay, as long as you're not like this, super stressed and with tight shoulders that are going to hurt eventually. So that's a trick for breathing. No, it's not a trick, it's just a mindset. Just keep it open. Don't try to do it so fast. In fact, you're going to do it as fast or even faster, but more efficiently by just not being in a hurry. Yeah, I hope that helps, because that's a big thing for everyone, the breathing. So now I'll do the last movement. I'll do it with a metronome, not too fast, so you can really hear where the beats are. Let's see. Okay, I'll try that at I'll try at 72 so you can really hear well. 1, 2. Sorry. No, I'm doing the first time. Was I doing the first time? First time. Okay, so sorry. I'll start at the pickup of 25. Also, there's a spot where, yeah, when you start on the beat for your trill, when you start on the top note, let's say at 26, make sure that you do the F sharp of that trill on the beat, not before the beat. I'll give you an example. So I'll start from the pickup of 25. But if I play it before, it's going to be like that. It's a bit better to play it on the beat. It gives more of a, you know, it's really what the composer wanted. Okay, I'll try it faster. So you see, first time I played as written, second time I played with ornaments. You could also change the dynamics. You can, it's just about playing it differently the second time, or you could also not do the repeats. It's all like your choice. You can listen to different versions and get ideas from different people too, different players. Here it's in 2, but I really feel it in 1, because if you feel it in 1, like the bigger the chunk you have, the easier it will be to phrase it well. So even though I subdivide in quarter notes, I feel it in half notes, so per measure. It's easier to see it as architecturally. Let's say at 5 to 10, let's say, you see you have this thing. You have a full scale there. You see? So if you see bigger chunks, those things are more obvious to you and you'll make them come out more. It's a bit like having two flutes playing. One's playing the bass, one's playing the top. So try to make those things come out. Okay. It's a bit fast. I'll see. Sorry. To push yourself sometimes. But also, let's say I was practicing for a concert and stuff. My next step, I think right now, would be to record myself just with my phone or whatever. Like if you use your phone, don't put it too close to your flute, put it further away so it doesn't peak too much. I would record myself, and then I would sit down with the music and act a bit like my own teacher or like a judge in a competition or whatever. And I write, oh, that's nice. Oh, that has to be worked on. Oh, here, this note's a bit flat. Oh, here, this note's a bit short. I think it would be nicer longer, you know. Or I write directly in my music, or I make little notes on the side. And then it gives me some data to inform my next practice. And I write that down. Because the next practice, when next practice comes, I might not remember. And then when I want to practice, I know what I have to work on. And when you're not busy playing and you listen to yourself, you hear way more things. And make sure when you do that, that you don't only notice the wrong things, but you also notice the good things. Because we tend to be hard on ourselves. And a good teacher also says what's going well, not just what has to be bettered or worked on. And you have to be a good teacher to yourself because you're your main teacher. Let's say you have a lesson every week or every 2 weeks and you practice an hour a day. So you practice maybe 7 hours a week. So you teach yourself 7 times more than your teacher teaches yourself, or maybe 14 times more, or maybe, you know what I mean? So you have to treat yourself properly. Yeah, I think that's it, huh?
There's no questions.
Yeah, there's no questions?
I think we're just enjoying it.
Okay, so I hope this was helpful. If you want to have access to go on Musigy and see what we have 2 flute methods that I'm very proud of. I built them with, they're very organized, so you don't have to lose time thinking, what should I be practicing next? It's like everything's very organized in there. Very proud of that, and people seem to enjoy it, so I'm super happy about that. Then there's the recording of the Telemann, and there's also my own version, my own edition of the 24th Caprice of Paganini. Eventually I'd like to do all of them, but there's so many things I want to do. And there's going to be more stuff coming soon. So thanks for everyone who went there and bought some of our products. It's amazing. And if you leave reviews, we're very excited to read them every time. So there's that. And then we also have a Patreon where you can go and you can be a patron for us. And that gives you access to all our content with no ads. And so we're very grateful for that as well when people want to be part of that. And then there's also some merch. I think it's in the description below. And there's lessons if you want to email us at the info@theflutechannel.com. I don't have that much space right now, but you can try. We'll see. And I think that's it. Am I forgetting something? So I hope this was helpful. And if it was, please like it and subscribe. Thanks. See you next time.